Okay, so I said that I was going to document my lactation journey for you guys, and I just realized like I haven't been documenting like where I'm starting at from the beginning. So I really want you guys to see truly where I'm coming from, and hopefully my end result will be, what's the word? Successful, meaning hopefully I will be able to produce quantities of milk that will more than sustain my baby. So I'm gonna come over here and just show y'all a morning pump session. So I'm very much in the beginning of what I would believe to be relactating. I don't know if that would be accurate. A lactation specialist might say that I'm not relactating because I don't feel like my milk actually dried up, but it's real skimp. But let me just show y'all where I am. It is about 8:45 in the morning. I did a morning pump at around 8 o'clock, and I pumped for about 20 minutes. So let me just show you. This is what I typically get out in the mornings, which is really kind of the most I get out in a day. It gets even more shallow than this as the day goes on, but your morning pump is always the most milk that you get out at a time when pumping. She's a little fussy right now, so I had to kind of tie her down to me. But what I will say is she ate about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago. So even though we're just under 3 hours, once I'm done filming this little snippet of the video, I probably will try to latch her to the breast again. When she gets cranky in between feedings, I do try and latch her one more time because that kind of calms her. It gives us a little moment of bonding time, and it gives her like a little snack in between meals. Because even though this seems like such a little bit, which it is, she can get a lot more out of my breast than the pump can. I am going to have my breakfast now. I am having oatmeal. I have oatmeal every single morning because oatmeal is supposed to be really, really good for milk production. Also, in addition to drinking water, I have been drinking these Body Armor super drinks. It's basically just like a sports drink, like a Gatorade or a Powerade, I believe. However, it's supposed to be all natural flavors and sweeteners. So I've been drinking one of these every day, typically with my breakfast in the morning, because this is supposed to help with hydration and milk production as well. I'm gonna go ahead and show you really quickly how I store the milk that I'm pumping before I eat my breakfast. So this is from 2 pumping sessions. So this is about an ounce and a half. So I pumped at 6 p.m. yesterday and then 12 midnight last night. And what I'm doing is from each pump session, I'm going ahead and combining it in one bottle. Now there's a way to go about doing this because you want to make sure that it's safe for your baby. What you cannot do is you cannot take freshly pumped breast milk and pour it into a bottle of refrigerated breast milk. What you have to do is you have to chill the freshly pumped milk first, and then once they're both once it's chilled like the refrigerated milk, then you can combine the two. I'm trying to get a gauge on how much milk I'm actually pumping in a 24-hour period. So I've been kind of at this consistently for the past week. I've been kind of pumping off and on and feeding her off and on over the past month that she's been in this world. However, I haven't been going hard as I've been going this week until this week. So now that I'm round the clock pumping, round the clock trying to breastfeed, now I want to see how much milk I'm producing in a 24-hour period. I'm gonna chill what I just pumped this morning at 8 a.m. and combine it in this as well. And we'll kind of see at the end of 24 hours how much milk I'm actually getting out. I'm putting my parts in this little basin because this is what I wash my breast pump parts in. That's the only thing that goes in here are my breast pump parts, and I do have to wash them after every use. So again, using it every 2 to 3 hours, washing it every 2 to 3 hours. That's it. Like, my life revolves around milk of some sort, whether it's breast milk or formula. I feel so like naive because everybody was asking me before I had her, are you gonna breastfeed? And I'm like, oh yeah. I'm gonna breastfeed for a year. I mean, I said that shit with confidence, like it was gonna be nothing. Like, this shit is so hard, but I'm gonna stick with it. So just to give y'all a little bit of insight as far as my routine and what I do in terms of a feeding session to try to promote breast milk production, the first thing I do is I do put my baby on the breast. So actually a few minutes, maybe about 20 or 30 minutes before she's due to eat. Hold on just a second. I am making my breakfast. I need to prop this phone up somewhere. And I do this about 20 or 30 minutes before she's due to feed. So I will latch her to the breast first. She is eating every 3 hours right now, and her pediatrician has her on that regimen until she's about 3 months old. So we're not sleeping through the night, but we are 1 month and counting. So she usually stays latched for about 10 to 15 minutes, I'll say. Sometimes she'll stay latched for 20. So once she unlatches, I'll go ahead and get her a bottle of formula ready because I am supplementing with formula. So whatever she had from the breast, I make sure to top off with 3 ounces of formula, just to make sure that she is full and sustained until her next feeding. After I get her squared away there, she will burp, and then she will either, have some tummy time or take a nap, and I use that opportunity to pump. The advice that was given to me by lactation specialists, as well as just YouTube videos that I've watched and things that I've Googled, basically I have to pump constantly. All right, so I just finished eating my breakfast and it's almost time for her to eat again. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and I am going to warm a bottle of formula. And then while I'm doing that, I'm also going to clean my pump part. I'm just going to do a speed through video to kind of show you. I'm not going to talk through it, but basically I take each piece apart, let it soak in the little basin, clean each part, and then I will set it aside to let it dry, and it'll be ready when I'm ready to pump again. Now that my pump parts are clean, I don't know if I mentioned this before, the reason that I am pumping around the clock the same way that I'm feeding her is because my brain needs to send a message to my body that it needs to produce more milk. So whether a ton of milk is coming out right now or not, I have to continue on this cycle consistently so that eventually my body will produce the amount of milk that I'm hoping that it's going to produce. You'll probably see with this next pump that it'll be even less than what you saw right there because A, I just pumped, and B, I am about to latch her to the other breast now before I give her her bottle. So, I mean, throughout the day, the milk just gets shallow, more and more shallow, but I'm going to continue on this regimen regardless because, again, I want my body to feel the demand and in return produce more milk. So I did just finish my oatmeal. I am still sipping on my energy drink, but after that, I'm going to convert immediately to water and drink water all throughout the day. The only other thing I added to what I've mentioned so far is I have added some lactation cookies. And hold on just a second, I'll just show you. This is them. They are the Munchkin Milk Makers lactation cookie bites. And I got the oatmeal chocolate chip flavor. And you can find this at your Walmart, Target. Not sure if you can find it at the grocery store. You probably can, but if you do go to Walmart or you go to Target, these are not going to be found in groceries. They're actually going to be found in the infant section. Go to the section where they have breast pump supplies and breast pumps and nursing pillows and that sort of thing. You will find lactation cookies there. They're kind of like the Chips Ahoy little minis. They come with 10 bags, and I believe there's about 8 cookies per bag. They're actually really good, and I look forward to eating them. But they were quite expensive in my opinion. This box of 10 was actually $18 and some change. Because they're so expensive and I'm eating them for, a specific goal, I don't want to run through them too fast. So I do just eat one bag a day. Usually I eat it with my lunch or after lunch or like a snack between lunch and dinner. As explained in the beginning of this video in the intro, I just had a whole lot going on that prevented me from staying on top of my game as far as breastfeeding. So now that I'm getting back into it, I'm only 7 days in. So I don't want to feel like I'm failing just yet and like I need to add all of these different tricks and products and vitamins and things to try to produce milk until I see what I can do with the minimum. So the oatmeal, the Body Armor sports drink, and the lactation cookies, those are the only products that I have purchased to try to help increase my milk production. And then everything else I'm doing is pretty much drink more water, stay hydrated, and pump as much as I need to. And of course, nurse my baby as much as she wants to be nursed, because that's another thing that really promotes milk production is latching her to my breast, having that skin to skin with her, and just having that moment of bonding. It triggers my body to produce more milk. Yeah, it's 10 o'clock. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into my routine once again. And then pretty much from here on out throughout the video, like I may pop in to give a tip or two if it's something that I forgot to mention. But I'm basically just going to show you over time what happens with my milk supply, whether it increases, whether it stays the same, whether it dries up completely. I just want you guys to see a realistic milk journey from me. Today is Saturday, February the 1st, and it is 10 o'clock a.m. And I just want to put that little timestamp in here so that you can see how long it takes me to reach my goal. Guys, okay. So I have a leaky breast, and I am really excited about it because this is the first time I've seen my breast leak since I came from the hospital. So my baby is fussy right now. She is crying, and I just came upstairs to put my pajamas on because we just got back from a doctor's appointment. So I came upstairs to get more comfortable, and I noticed that my boob is leaking just a little bit. So I'm gonna go downstairs. I'm gonna try feeding her from one breast and pumping from the one that's leaking, and we'll see how much milk comes out. Good morning. It's my second full week of my going strong, hardcore breastfeeding journey. I consider it the second week of my journey because this is the second week that I've really been trying to do everything I can at home to be consistent in increasing my milk production, and also as far as being consistent in nursing my baby. I've been pumping about 5 ounces a day. I did do a calculation yesterday, or I kept track of how many ounces I pumped in a 24-hour period. So I started at 8 a.m. the previous morning, and I basically clocked how much milk I had pumped by 8 a.m. the following morning. Now, the ironic thing about that is my goal for every day is to pump 8 times a day. Yesterday was actually my first day of reaching that 8 pump goal mark. Before then, I was getting in about 4 to 6 pumps a day, and I was still nursing my baby in between feedings, which I've also bumped up to nursing her in between every feeding versus, every other here and there kind of feeding. So yesterday I really saw pretty much a day if I do things the right way, if you will. I have recorded, like I've been tallying my pumps every day, just trying to push myself to pump as much as I need to. I also have been keeping a tally or a recording of how much water I consume in a day to make sure I'm consuming enough water. So I just have goals that I have written down, and I just check them off at the end of each day to make sure that I'm reaching those goals. And yesterday was the first day that I really pretty much reached every single goal except for my water goal, but I do get pretty close every day. So this is how much milk I have stored up after 2 weeks. And as I told you in a previous clip, this is not from one session. These are combined pump sessions. So the date that I place on the bottle is actually the date of the first session of milk that's in here, because you want to make sure that you're accurate as far as dates are concerned, because if your milk expires or is approaching expiring, you want to be aware of that. And that's that on that. But let's just talk a little bit about how I've been feeling. So I'm frustrated, but I'm not frustrated in a sense like I feel like a failure frustrated. I'm frustrated like to the point where I do feel very tempted to give up on this. Not gonna lie. Like I just kind of feel like maybe I should just say F it and just give her the formula exclusively, just because of how time consuming and how hard breastfeeding actually is. I mean, if I'm not pumping, I'm feeding her. If I'm not feeding her formula, I'm trying to nurse her. So that's really 3 things that are all time consuming in their own right that I have to do so many times a day. It kind of feels like I'm feeding with formula and supplementing with breast milk, but whatever. So I'm feeding her every day, making sure I'm staying on schedule with her feedings. I am also breastfeeding her or nursing her to my breast 30 minutes to an hour prior to when she's due for her next formula feeding. And then I'm pumping in between, trying to get 8 pumps in a day. That's a lot. Like yesterday, because you never know what your baby is going to be on. Like when she wakes up, she might be in a great mood. She might be in the mood to like just eat and nap throughout the day, which when she's napping, it gives me the opportunity to go ahead and pump, but also get a few other things done before it's time to start that cycle over again. Or you can have days like yesterday where even though I reached my goal of 8 pumps, that's pretty much all I was able to do yesterday. Didn't really get to do anything on my to-do list as far as household chores and just things I needed to do for myself. I mean, it's kind of frustrating in that sense. It's like it would be so much easier to eliminate the pumping and the nursing altogether and just feed her formula, because then that's one thing I have to keep up with. That's an easy cycle to stay on and keep up with on its own, and it's the most important part of this whole process. What I mean by that is keeping her fed is the most important part of this whole process. I don't know, something just there's a little inkling of something in me that just doesn't want to give up on it. Like I don't even know when I'm gonna edit all these videos I'm filming, because I barely have time to wash my butt. Okay guys, quick update. This is from one night of pumping. So this is 2 sessions, and I got about 2 ounces per boob. This is my 3rd week of seriously doing everything I can to produce as much milk as I can, and I produced in one night of pumping about 4 ounces. Good afternoon, you guys. It is about 2 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks. No, definitely not 3 weeks. It's like probably 2 weeks from my last entry. So I just wanted to pop in and say what's up to you guys and let you know that I am still at it. I am still pumping my little heart away. That is my pump that you hear in the background. It's the Medela InStyle Advanced Pump that was actually given to me as a gift from a friend. But I'll get into all of that later on as far as like what pumps I use. I'm trying to think. I might just do a separate video on the pumps themselves. I do have more than one, but I think, I don't know. Once I start to edit this footage, I'll see like how long it is, and if it's not going to be too lengthy to throw the pump facts and information in with it, I will. But if I see a need or a reason to do something separately, I will do that as well. I just want to let you guys know I've started to incorporate my freezer stash into my baby's diet. So she gets 2 breast milk bottles a day, usually in the morning and at nighttime. Or sometimes I just alternate, but she is getting definitely at least 2 of her feedings with breast milk. It's been that way for the past couple days, because I feel like, let me go ahead and start incorporating it into her diet, because I'm not pumping all this milk for nothing. This is for her to consume and to reap the benefits from immediately. And yeah, so that's where we are. I just wanted to check in. Just stay tuned and I will continue to keep you guys posted. Hey y'all, so it's been about a month since my last check-in. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and I spilled my milk. And I just spilled my milk. I didn't spill it all, but to spill any milk is just, yeah. Okay, so anyway, I just want to show y'all where I'm at. I've come a long way since I talked to you guys 4 weeks ago, but it's been some trial and error. Like I mentioned in a previous clip, or maybe this is my first time mentioning it, but I felt like I was collecting milk in my freezer kind of like a trophy, because I was just too caught up in building my freezer stash. But that's not what this is about. This is for her to eat and get nutrient that I provide for her. I'm pumping about 17 to 20 ounces per day. She is 3 months and a couple days old, and we are still supplementing with formula, but she is getting a lot more breast milk now than she was getting. So this here is my baby's milk supply for today. These are her groceries, and this is 5 bottles of milk, all containing 4 ounces in them. And this is all that I pumped yesterday. Instead of freezing it, I did put it in the freezer bags and store it away in 4-ounce increments. And then this morning I came and made bottles with it. So this is my second pump of the morning. It's about 1.5 ounces per bottle, so that'll be about 3 ounces, and that is total for both boobs, 3 ounces. And I'm going to refrigerate this and clean my flanges and my bottles and get ready for my next pumping session, which is actually going to be probably in the next 30 minutes to an hour. And if you notice, these are different bottles than what you saw from earlier in the video. I have acquired some different pumping equipment, but I think I'm gonna go do a whole nother video about what I use to pump and just do a whole video on pumps. So let's not concentrate on that too much right now, but yeah, I'll give you more details on that at a later date. What's up, you guys? So it's been 24 hours since my last entry, and I think I just had a light bulb go off in my head. And I wanted to come on here and document that for this video, because it's something that, it's a mistake that I've made. So I'm just going to make the assumption that other moms, especially new moms, have also made this mistake. So if I can prevent someone from doing this, I want to include this in the video as some type of help and guidance just from my own experience. So we've gone 24 hours without me having to make any formula. So yesterday I showed you that all of what you saw pumped in the fridge was from my sessions the day before. So I began feeding her that milk yesterday morning. As the day went on, as the day progressed, I didn't freeze any milk. I pretty much just made bottles with what I was pumping because the bottles are good in the fridge for up to 5 days. That being said, we're still coasting on breast milk alone. I have not made any formula. I have been pumping every 2 hours, every 2 to 3 hours during the day and every 4 hours at night. And she's been good. Like, I've been able to sustain her with enough bottles. Like right now I still have about 4.5 bottles in the fridge ready to go. And it is about 1:15 in the afternoon the next day. So that just made me realize that I was focusing too much on my freezer stash and anticipating going back to work and not focusing on the priority, which is feeding it to her. So as I mentioned before, I have been pulling from the freezer stash and incorporating that into her daily diet by alternating between breast milk and formula throughout the day. But yesterday I made it through the day just fine with only breast milk, and it was freshly pumped breast milk. It wasn't frozen. So my freezer stash is good. It's not going anywhere. So I'm going to leave that where it's at, and I'm just going to feed her as I pump. And, if I have an excess amount of milk or if I pump a little extra one day, I can always bag it up and stick it in the freezer with what I already have in there and continue to build on that. But right now I'm just going to focus more on feeding her. And I do still have plenty of formula here at the house. If for any reason, we need to go back to formula for whatever reason, I have plenty of it here to make a bottle. So yeah. Fed is best. It's more important that she is fed over anything else. So if I do need to go back to using my formula or making formula for her, I will certainly do so with no problem. But right now I have plenty of breast milk in my fridge to feed her. So that's what I'm going to do. And I will check back with you guys in a couple days, and I'm going to let you know how this has gone. Hey y'all, I'm washing bottles, and I wanted to come and do a quick update because I'm feeling extremely defeated right now. I just had a meltdown. I've been crying because my baby has been having some really rough days the past couple of days, and I just could not figure out why. And so she's been sleeping through the night, which has been great, but that eliminates at least 1 to 2 feedings that she would normally have. And I think as a result of that, she's wanting more milk during the day. Like I mentioned in the previous clip, I pretty much thought I was home free as far as, exclusively pumping and breastfeeding. I've been going 1 week strong, about a week and a day to be exact, strong of just exclusive breast milk. And I've felt so good about it, especially with everything going on right now with the coronavirus and everything like that. I mean, we are quarantined, but I did see, that breast milk is like one of the best things you could do for your baby if they're still at that age where they're nursing or breastfeeding. Like, the antibodies in breast milk will help to protect them during a time like this. So it was just even more motivation for me to continue, to pump and to try to feed her, breast milk. And so everything has been going great, with the exception of, I just don't think that she is completely sustained. I do think she hit a growth spurt because also this week she has gone up in her diaper sizes from a size 1 to a size 2. So she's now in a size 2 diaper. She's sleeping through the night. And I just think that with the little growth spurt that she's hit, plus the fact that she is not feeding at night the way she was before. I just think that she wants more milk during the hours that she's awake, and she is eating. So I am going to have to go back to formula. It was a good run though. I mean, we did make it a whole week and a day with no formula in the diet. It was strictly breast milk, and it was so good for her, I feel, because she has been like battling constipation since we brought her home from the hospital. The breast milk is helping her with that. Her being exclusively on the breast milk, she has had a bowel movement every single day since we started that, and I just think that that's great. And I've been setting my alarm. I've been getting up at night. Even though she's been sleeping at night, I have been waking up and I have been pumping. So it did also affect me in a very positive way as far as that goes. So we'll try it again. I mean, I'm talking to you guys about it, but I'm also kind of listening to myself, and this is like a little pep talk for myself. And I am really proud that we made it a whole week with only breast milk exclusively, but I am in no way concerned about going back to the formula. So she is napping right now, or she's just falling asleep. So I'm going to show you guys really quick how I prepare my formula. The formula that I give her is the Enfamil Sensitive, and the reason I give her this is because she had an issue with constipation before leaving the hospital and after we got home. The Sensitive, it still has iron in it, but it's just gone easier on her stomach than the regular Enfamil. I'm going to take 8 scoops. And this is a 16-ounce measuring cup. So I am going to fill this to the 16-ounce line with boiling hot water. Once it's full, I just take 2 of my Dr. Brown's 8-ounce bottles, and I fill each of them, and I just distribute the milk from these as needed. The reason that I boil it is because the lactation specialist said that pouring boiling water over the formula will kill any bacteria that's in the powder. So that's why I do it that way. But that's not to say that making a bottle on the spot is wrong, because it clearly states on the back of the container just to put 4 scoops into an 8-ounce bottle of water and shake it up. You can totally do that, but I'm just kind of going based on what my lactation specialist told me. So yeah, I'll let that cool down a little bit, and then I will add it to those bottles, and I will refrigerate them, and then I will make bottles with them when it's time for her to eat. Like I said before, I felt myself getting overwhelmed, and I just want anyone else to know that's going through this with me, or has gone through this, or you're about to have a baby. I just want you all to know that we are great. We are superheroes, and this is not something that needs to depress any of us. Because we need to keep our sanity together as much as we can for our families and for our babies. And if strictly formula is what you have to do, girl, it is no issue with that. If you want to do like me and do a mixture of both, or just do the best you can with breastfeeding and then just fill in the gaps with formula, that's fine too. If you want to exclusively pump, if you want to feed from the breast, however you want to do it, is perfectly fine. There is no right or wrong way, as long as your baby is fed. That is the main objective, is to keep baby fed and baby happy. So I will continue to pump because I have developed excellent habits as far as my pumping goes just in the past week, because her feedings have depended on it. So I will continue to stay on my regimen and pump as much milk as I can, and I will be feeding it to her, but I will again be filling in any gaps with formula because I just have an inkling that she's needing a little bit more per feeding than 4 ounces. So yeah, I just wanted to check in. I hope you guys can appreciate this all being filmed in real time, because these are the type of videos that I couldn't find on YouTube. So I hope that this is able to help one or many people. I'm going to keep at it. I'm going to give her every bit of me that I can. And I will see you guys when it's time for my next entry. I'll talk to y'all later.